Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today we're going to get into something that, well, it's not really about one single game. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah, it's really about organizational failure. We're looking at what happens when a team just completely falls apart from the inside.
We're taking a really specific case study here, the Philadelphia Eagles, and using commentary from insiders, former players, to figure out how a team full of stars, high-paid stars, could just lose its way so predictably.
Right, and our mission here is to get past the final score. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's a deep dive into the psychology of it all.
The psychology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're looking at the difference between a team that sticks together and one that breaks apart into individual brands. The sources even have a name for it. The champion syndrome.
That's a great frame for it. And before we get into the failure, we have to set up your plan for what success actually looks like.
We do. We need a gold standard.
And our sources give us one. Coach Kyle Shanahan, I mean, his record in the early playoff rounds is just staggering. He's 7-0 in wild card and divisional games.
7-0. And that's not just a cool stat. That's the best record for any coach with at least 7 of those games. He passed John Madden, the legendary John Madden.
Yeah.
And what that number really represents is a system. It's consistency. It means the organization doesn't panic under pressure. That's what cohesion looks like.
Okay, so let's use that as our benchmark. If Shanahan's record is the gold standard, what was the biggest problem with the team that collapsed? Where did they go wrong?
Well, for that, we can go straight to the source, inside the locker room, to former player Jason Kelce.
Right.
He pointed to the single biggest difference between their Super Bowl year and this year's failure. And it wasn't what you'd think. It was the team dynamics.
Not the plays.
Not the plays. I mean, he mentioned things like the run game being so efficient the year before, but he was quick to say the deep issue was chemistry.
So it wasn't the X's and O's, it was the soul of the team.
Precisely. Kelce said, last year when they heard all the outside noise and faced problems, the team actually came together. This year, he said, and I'm quoting here, it never felt like they were able to come together and realize that it's about us. They just focused on their own jobs.
And that's where the comparison to the 49ers is so telling, because it shows that losing a player here or there isn't a real excuse.
It's not. The sources pointed out that the 49ers were fighting and playing together even when they lost key guys. They mentioned George Kittle being out.
And they kept winning.
They kept winning. It proves the problem wasn't about who was on the field. The problem was internal. It was about motivation and the team's entire structure.
Which brings us to the coach, Nick Sirianni. His message after the game seemed to admit that there was this huge cultural problem.
Yeah, he told them to use the pain to let it shape them for next year.
Did the pain shape you?
Right. But that's the key question, isn't it? Why does a team that just won a Super Bowl need to be shaped by pain all over again? Why didn't success make them stronger?
It's a great question. And that seems like the perfect pivot to what the sources called the champion syndrome. This feels like the core of the breakdown.
It is. It's this subtle but really destructive psychological shift that can happen after you win.
Okay, break that down for us. Champion syndrome.
Instead of the team thinking we were champions, as a group effort, individuals start to think, I'm a champion.
That shift from we to I can see how that would be corrosive. But how does that actually show up on the field?
It creates 2 massive problems: complacency and fragmentation. First, individuals start waiting for their own big moment to happen instead of grinding it out together.
Right.
And second, everyone starts to think they have the answer. The team never came together because, as the sources said, everyone was just waiting for the stars to figure it out and go make plays.
So they stopped relying on the system that got them there and started waiting for individual heroics.
Exactly. And when you're focused on I, you're not going to sacrifice for the team. You're going to protect your own brand. And that's why the sources said they lost this game in the most predictable way possible.
Because they've been playing that way all season long.
The final loss was just a symptom of the disease.
And what's so wild is that this all happened while they had the #1 highest paid offense in the entire league.
That's the paradox, isn't it?
I mean, to perform mediocre across the board, as one source put it, with that much money invested, it's
unacceptable. And that's why the blame game started immediately after. It's an organizational failure, not just a bad game.
Yeah, and while one source was very blunt, calling the offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, awful, the general feeling was that it wasn't that simple.
And it couldn't be. I mean, if you're paying your players that much money, they have to be able to execute even if the play call isn't perfect.
The players have to elevate the plays?
They have to. the talent should overcome mediocre coaching. The fact that it didn't, that points right back to that lack of cohesion, that fragmentation we've been talking about.
It's just the breakdown wasn't on the whiteboard, it was in the trust between the players, the human element.
It absolutely was. And we saw the ultimate proof of that in the most critical moments of the game.
Okay, let's go there. Let's talk about those critical disconnects on the field, because this is where the theory really becomes reality.
Right. And there's no better example than the last play of the game.
The last offensive play.
A must-have situation. And the ball doesn't go to their star receiver, A.J. Brown, even though he's in one-on-one coverage.
It's mind-boggling. You pay a guy over $100 million for that exact moment.
For that one moment.
And our sources mentioned he had some drops the day before, 5 drops. But still, don't you have to trust your guy?
That is the fundamental conflict. That failure to trust him is what the sources call the disconnect. It's like having a Ferrari and leaving it in the garage because it sputtered once yesterday.
Yeah, and the sources laid out 2 really conflicting arguments for what should have happened, which I think shows how confused the thinking was. Let's start with argument 1. Just trust the star.
The trust argument is simple. You throw it to A.J. Brown no matter what. You've seen him make that play, as one source put it, 100,000 times.
The recent drops don't matter.
They don't matter compared to the years of evidence. You have to believe in the investment you made. You trust the talent.
Okay, but then there's argument 2, which is you reward who's playing well right now.
Exactly. This side of the argument pointed out that on the previous crucial down, a 4th down, the ball went to Dallas Goedert. Why?
Because he was the one making plays.
He was making the plays. He was leading the team in touchdowns. So that suggests a very short-term tactical mindset. No faith in the big picture, just chasing the hot hand.
And the worst part is the quarterback didn't really choose either path. He kind of chose a third terrible option.
He did. Instead of going to Brown or Devonta Smith, who were in single coverage, he threw the ball in the middle of the field with 3 defenders around the receiver.
Just an impossible throw.
It's a panic throw.
Yeah.
And that one decision tells you everything about the lack of trust. He didn't trust his receiver to win, and he didn't trust the play call to give him a better option.
It's a complete breakdown of the system.
Total breakdown. And you contrast that with the organizations we talked about earlier. Robert Saleh's defense, how organized they are, or Kyle Shanahan's creativity.
Trickeration.
Right. Those are systems built on deep, deep trust between coaches and players.
So to bring it all together, while the offensive coordinator got a lot of heat, it seems the consensus from our sources is that the players had chances. They just couldn't make the play.
They couldn't. The talent was there on paper, but it was neutralized by the champion syndrome. When things got tough, they didn't lean on each other, they just panicked.
So this deep dive has been, a pretty brutal look at how success can actually poison a team's foundation.
It can.
The lesson seems to be that you can have all the talent, all the money, but if that internal dynamic shifts from we to I, it can all fall apart.
It's the difference between a team and a collection of employees. It's leadership versus just celebrity.
Right.
And that leads to a final thought for you to chew on, based on what the coach himself said. Sirianni claimed this pain was necessary for them to succeed next year. So if that's true, what specific cultural change, not firing a coach, not trading a player, but a deep cultural change, do they need to make first to fix that I versus we problem and actually come together again?
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.